Good day or good evening to you wherever you're watching. Thanks for joining us here on Eye on Africa. These are our main stories. In Democratic Republic of Congo, the trial of the former Justice Minister Constant Mutamba proceeds in earnest a day after an unsuccessful bid by his lawyers to have the case dismissed. He's accused of embezzling nearly $20 million while he was in office. He rejects the claims. We report on growing concern in Senegal as news commentators are increasingly finding themselves targeted by the justice system. A latest example, the columnist Badara Gadiaga, arrested for comments deemed insulting to the Prime Minister. This in a country once seen as a beacon of press freedom in West Africa. And we head to Somalia, where an artist in Mogadishu is working to help young people express themselves through art. Masla Abdidahir encourages youths to discover their voice and creativity, a radical undertaking in a conservative country where creative pursuits are often viewed with suspicion. Thanks very much for joining us. We begin in Democratic Republic of Congo as a highly publicised trial of the former Justice Minister is underway in the capital, Kinshasa. Constant Mutamba is accused of embezzling nearly $20 million in relation to a contract awarded to build a new prison. He rejects the claims. France 24's Emmett Livingston is in Kinshasa. He tells us more.
Former Congolese Justice Minister Constant Mutamba has told judges that he is innocent of charges of corruption and a victim of a plot to take him down. He was once one of the most vocal politicians in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mutamba shot to fame last year when he was appointed Justice Minister, pushing to criminalise the promotion of homosexuality and also launching a sweeping reform of Congo's legal system. But his fall from grace has been swift. Last month, Mutamba resigned after serious allegations that he embezzled public money. He is accused of being involved in the disappearance of nearly $20 million earmarked for the construction of a prison in the north of the country. During a hearing in Congo's highest court on Wednesday, Mutamba's defense lawyers argued that the case should be thrown out because of irregularities. They said that the recent vote in the National Assembly to lift Mutamba's immunity should have been held in secret, for example. But the judges rejected this request. Mutamba himself then told the court that the $19.9 million in question was still sitting in a bank account and that he'd never touched the money. He said that his legal problems were due to what he called his interfering with the interests of the mafia. Hearings are due to continue next week.
In Senegal, news commentators expressing opinions on media talk shows have recently found themselves targeted by the justice system. A latest example, the columnist Badara Gadiaga, who was arrested for comments deemed insulting to the Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko. Several commentators are currently in prison on charges including insulting the country's leaders and spreading misinformation. And it sparked growing concern in a country once seen as a beacon of press freedom in West Africa. Caitlin Kelly reports from Dakar.
5:30 p.m. marks the start of Les Grandes Gueules, the popular television program on Senegal's Zik FM and Sen TV, media outlets known for criticizing the government. In recent months, several commentators, some of whom appear on this program, have been imprisoned for crimes of opinion.
We feel like it's forbidden to express your opinion or criticize the government's actions, even a little. We feel really threatened right now. I think we need to protect these commentators.
Abu Ngar, Bashir Fofana, Badara Gajigar. These are just some of the names of those currently in prison for speaking out against the government.
Senegalese democracy must move beyond these things. I think that the way to improve the human rights situation is to look at alternatives to prison and imprisonment.
The government director of communications has been leading efforts to regulate the media space in Senegal and believes rights are guaranteed.
Senegal
has jumped 20 places in the Reporters Without Borders ranking compared to 2023. There are no issues with crimes of opinion in Senegal. Those who have problems with public order generally do so when the news they have disseminated is considered unfounded, unsourced, or unproven. This is the dissemination of fake news, and this issue is regulated by the Penal Code.
Last week, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye said one of his objectives was to restore the Senegalese people's confidence in the justice system. As the Committee to Protect Journalists joined other civil society voices calling on the Senegalese authorities to immediately release Badara Gajigar, stop arresting journalists, and end retaliation against critical media outlets.
The International Criminal Court has convicted 2 militia leaders from Central African Republic for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Edouard Ngaisona, a former sports minister and football executive, and ex-army chief corporal Alfred Yekatom were sentenced to 12 and 15 years respectively. Among the charges, murder, torture, forcible transfer and persecution of Muslim civilians. The court said the pair helped to lead the mainly Christian anti-Balaka militia in a campaign of violence against Muslims in 2013 and 2014. Kenya's police watchdog says officers used disproportionate force as they cracked down on a string of recent protests in which 65 people were killed. In a report released on Thursday, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority said it observed significant breaches of constitutional policing standards and police failed to uphold public safety and rights. The fatalities were recorded during demonstrations against police brutality and poor governance in June and July. The IPOA also said violence, looting and destruction of property by people disguised as protesters had in some instances overwhelmed the police. In Rwanda, the 3rd edition of the Kigali Cine Junction Festival is turning the streets of the capital into a giant open-air movie theatre. It brings together audiences and professionals from across the continent, aiming to put Kigali on the map as a vibrant hub for African cinema. Our correspondent Juliette Montilly went along to the opening night.
L'été se déroule sur le thème du cinéma dans la capitale rwandaise avec le Kigali Cine Junction. Pendant 5 jours, plus de 40 films seront diffusés dans la ville, principalement en plein air. Le programme propose également un large éventail d'ateliers et de tables rondes visant à célébrer le 7e art et à connecter des professionnels venus du monde entier. L'objectif pour les organisateurs du festival, rendre plus visible le cinéma africain qui occupe aujourd'hui une place infime dans les salles obscures du continent.
L'une de nos missions, c'est d'amener des gens de cinéma qui ne voyagent pas beaucoup d'habitude. Et parce que sur nos télés, ce n'est pas nos productions qui sont sur nos télévisions. Donc l'idée, c'est de dire on va faire une programmation qui challenge un peu le public et qui montre d'autres choses. Et sur une base de beaucoup de films qui vient d'Afrique.
Je pense que c'est une bonne initiative.
We do apologize for that. We do have the English version of that report there from Kigali at the Kigali Cine Junction Festival. Take a listen.
This summer in Rwanda's capital is all about cinema, with the Kigali Cine Junction taking center stage. For 5 days, more than 40 films will be screened across the city, mostly outdoors. The program also includes a wide range of workshops and roundtables designed to celebrate African cinema and build bridges between filmmakers from around the globe. The goal for the organizers is to give African cinema more visibility, because today it still makes up only a tiny share of what's shown in theaters across the continent.
One of our missions is to bring a kind of cinema that usually doesn't travel much, because on our TVs, it's not our own productions that are being shown. So the idea is to say we're going to create a program that challenges the audience a bit and shows something different, with a strong focus on films coming from Africa.
I think that it's a good initiative. I think given the amount of people that we're seeing here, I think that it's kind of showcases the interest that is already there in the people to probably learn about African cinema, get to see it on the big screens. I think that continuously trying to make these spaces accessible.
The festival opened with the screening of Dahomey, a documentary by director Mati Diop. It follows the 2021 repatriation to Benin of 26 royal treasures that had been held in France since the colonial era. And the celebrations continue with a special spotlight on Senegalese cinema, including screenings of iconic films like Afrique sur scène by Paulin Soumanou Vieira and Mamadou Sarr, and Conde Tiaroy by legendary director Ousmane Sembène.
Finally, we head to Somalia, where an artist in Mogadishu is working to help young people express themselves through art. Masla Abdi-Dahir teaches youths how to paint and mix colours and encourages them to discover their voice and tap into their creative side. In a conservative society where formal art education is virtually non-existent and creative pursuits often viewed with suspicion, it's a radical undertaking, as Laurent Bersteger tells us.
Crammed in a small Mogadishu studio, these young Somali women quietly mix colors and sketch outlines as they bring their ideas to life on canvas. Watching over their shoulder is self-taught artist Masla Abdi-Dahir, who's made it his mission to nurture art and creativity in the Somali capital.
Every 2 months, I have the privilege of training 50 art students. Then I provide them with certificates to acknowledge their accomplishments. Some of them pursue art to capture beauty, while others use their talents to earn a living.
Dahir's studio has become a unique space for self-expression in a country where access to formal art education remains extremely limited. The young artist doesn't just teach theory and technique, but wants to encourage students to find their voice and share their vision with others. Some were able to do just that at a recent street exhibition in Mogadishu, where dozens of paintings explored issues of peace and identity in a country still healing from decades of conflict.
I'm so happy our youth are producing these beautiful paintings, and it's not just a painting, it's carrying emotional and truth and love.
Creative pursuits are often misunderstood in Somalia, where conservative interpretations of religion and long-standing social norms tend to discourage visual forms of storytelling, a perception which Dahir is trying to challenge, one stroke of the brush at a time.
And that's it for this edition of Eye on Africa. The international headlines are up next. Stay with us here on France 24.
In this French Connections, we'll take you to one of Paris's most exciting and beautiful arrondissements, le 4e.
The 4th arrondissement has so much packed into it. There's Paris's City Hall, the Hotel de Ville, right there, but also iconic landmarks like Notre Dame or incredible museums like the Pompidou Center.
It's also home to Le Marais, Paris's historic Jewish neighborhood that's become a very trendy place with a vibrant culture scene and a vibrant gay scene as well.
Join us as we explore le 4e arrondissement de Paris.
French Connections Plus, presented by Jeannie Godula and Florence Villemino.